Hey everybody, my name is Jared, and we've got this new show that we're going to do a trial run today. I'm here with Matthew, and I'm just going to cut to him.
Hi.
Say hello, Matthew.
Hello, Matthew. That's like the oldest joke in the book, and yet it still gets laughs.
Only from me.
Yes.
So basically, bit of history here. Matthew and I have been friends for a few years now. We met on Facebook. Actually, no, Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah. Having a discussion about... actually, I can't remember. It was a long time ago, but...
Probably church media is probably how we first met each
other.
Church
media. Yeah, church media or Apple or something like that. Anyway, I had to go off the air for a few years. We had a podcast that we did about Apple. Mm-hmm. And we had to go off the air for a few years because I actually started working for Apple. Mm-hmm. So couldn't do that anymore. So we stopped our podcast, and we really haven't done much since. Since that time, we've both moved on to different jobs. I lived overseas for 12 months, but now I'm back in Australia, and we've decided that we want to try and get our podcast going again. But this time we're going to do it a little differently. We're not going to just sit here and talk about Apple. We're going to...
We're going to do a lot of that, probably, but...
But yeah. Well, probably today, actually. But in general, we talk about more like technology things, movies, TV shows, things like that. So just the fun stuff. So Matthew, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Not much to tell. I live in Austin, Texas. I just like sending a message to Jared live in the show, and I can hear his phone buzzing.
I'm just gonna move my phone off my table.
Actually, that was on Twitter. So
yeah, I got that too.
You can follow me on Twitter, Katanna. That's Katana on Twitter. I live in Austin. I lived here for 2 years. I moved here to Austin to be closer to family. So my sister lives here. My brother's about to move back to Texas. My mom lived here at the time that I moved back, so that's why I live in Austin. I've done a lot of tech jobs in my life. I was freelancer for a long time, worked in church tech, kind of like I said earlier, and then more recently now I do hotel tech. So I'm the AV guy at a hotel. We do projectors and microphones and stuff like that in the conference room. So if you see me distracted looking out the windows, there's a storm going over right now. I don't know if you can see out the window, but it's lightning outside and raining. Not terribly hard, but it is raining, so that's kind of why I'm distracted by the out of doors right now. But
well, show us your radar. You had your radar there before.
Oh, yeah. Let me pull that up. Give me a second. Nope, not that button. Too many buttons. So we're using Google Hangouts now, whereas before we were on Skype. Now
yeah, this is actually pretty cool. Like we've got lots of cool little functions we can do.
So for example, inside of here, I can go to screen share and only share this one window.
It's cool.
Look how stormy it is. No, here we go. So I'm right here, this black dot in the center in Austin. You can see the storm cells blowing in. So there you go. So it'll probably be over by the end of the podcast. It's kind of actually really funky outside right now. The atmosphere is kind of turning red. I've never seen the atmosphere turn red before. It's kind of strange. So
it's the red from from your radar there. So it sits red in the middle there. So that's making it red.
Oh, I see. I see.
Your house.
No, I think it's just like the sunset and kind of weird things are kind of all conspiring to make it look a little red outside. But that's okay. It might also could be that I've been staring at a computer screen, and so I'm just seeing red. So originally, tell us about yourself, Jared. You kind of totally skipped over yourself.
Yeah, okay. So I am a freelance videographer. So I've just started my own business since I got back to Australia. I just spent 12 months in Thailand with my wife, working for a not-for-profit organisation over there called Destiny Rescue. Destiny Rescue is basically what we do is we try to prevent but also rescue children that have ended up in the sex trade in many countries, Thailand, Cambodia, and Mozambique and places like that. so we have guys that go in and actually rescue these children out of brothels and stuff like that. So they're being sold for sex. So I worked for them as their videographer. I created lots of different promos and stuff like that. So check out destinyrescue.org for more information. And Matthew is wearing a T-shirt that is one of our T-shirts there, which is awesome. So thank you for that, Matthew. So now I'm back in Australia and I'm running my own business. It's just called Jared Bell, so jaredbell.com.au, and you can check out my website and see what I do there. So that's pretty much what I do. And Matthew's eating something, so probably shouldn't have cut to him right then. But anyway.
It's a drink that I'm eating. It's a frozen drink. So
frozen drink. I must have inspired you before with my frozen drink.
Yes.
So basically the idea was we're going to talk about things like technology and movies and TV shows and general stuff like that. And we were going to do our first show next week after Apple's WWDC conference. Well, that would not be called WWDC conference. It would just be called WWDC, Worldwide Developer Conference. And we decided we probably should talk about the rumors leading up to that conference, what we might see and stuff like that as well. So this is basically we decided, hey, let's just do it. Let's just get this ball rolling and bring up the WWDC conference. And Matthew's got the window open there for us to see. And we don't know what we're going to see yet. It's obviously, we've got new SDKs coming, stuff like that. And what do you think? What are some of the things that you're thinking, Matthew?
Well, if people don't know, WWDC is, like you said, I'm sorry, I'm going to back up just a little bit and explain WWDC. It's the Worldwide Developers Conference for Apple. So it's basically Apple developers getting together in one place and learning about how to develop for Apple. And it's a big conference, and there's hundreds of people, and there's sessions, and they learn a lot about a lot of stuff. But what the public knows about WWDC is that Apple always starts off with a big keynote. The very first part of WWDC is a big keynote, and traditionally Apple announces new products at their big keynote. And so, I can't move that up there. Oh well. And so they announce big products. They announce, whether it be a new iPhone, they won't announce a new iPhone, but new hardware sometimes. Usually it's software because it's the developers conference, so they're speaking to developers, and so a lot of times it's new software, the new operating system, and the new Mac operating system and the new iOS operating system. So we will probably see a preview of their next desktop software. We'll probably also see the first preview of the new iOS software, iOS 8, we would all assume. So that's why we get excited about WWDC, because there's a keynote at the beginning, but there's a lot more to WWDC than just the keynote. And I think that what made me think about that is when I was showing this website. You have all the sessions, you've got all the schedule. There's a lot that goes on, but if you're an Apple geek like Jared and myself, all you really care about is that very first line up there, the keynote.
That's right.
You don't care about all this other stuff down here. That's all just minutia. You really care about this keynote. That usually about 2 hours, hour and a half, and they'll announce new software, maybe some new hardware. We don't know yet. Apple's very secretive. So to get back to your question, what will we see? What will there be at WWDC that we didn't know before? Probably iOS 8. Lots of rumors going around about that. I almost spilled my frozen drink there. What will we see? I don't know. I don't spend too much time with the rumors just because, to me, I'll wait and see when it comes out. Yeah. So I don't know, and I haven't seen a whole lot about iOS 8 that we can confirm or that we know is true. There's plenty of stuff, one person says or two people says, but for the most part, I don't think we've heard a whole lot. So this is Mac Rumors. So WWDC, what to expect. So if you really want to know in depth, you would go here and see what because they pull together all of the rumors and everything else. They're looking at software updates, iOS 8. What you're seeing here is the health book, rumored health book. So the idea being, if there's a new iWatch or something like that, then all of that would feed back into here. Your heart rate and your blood work and all this kind of stuff would feed back into there.
Yep.
But even then, they're not listing. I mean, Mac Rumors isn't listing a whole lot here. OS 10.10, we might see. We might see a preview. Typically, yeah.
That's a good question. I wonder when are we ever going to get iOS 11? I mean, I thought after 10.9 we'd be like, hey, we don't need to go 10.10. We'll just go to 11. Should be turning it up to 11, I think.
However, they recently just changed their naming scheme. If it was going to go from 10.9 to 11, they wouldn't have come out with Mavericks. They would have found another cat and then started a new naming scheme. So I'm convinced that it's going to be a 10.10. But when will they come out with an 11? They'll come out with an 11 when they have a big enough change that warrants an 11. And I think that would be a touch-centered operating system. So, think OS 10, but with touch. And I don't think we're going to see that in the next 18 months.
No, because the current desktop setup we've got going now doesn't really lend itself to a touch. Like, I couldn't imagine myself touching these little icons at the bottom of the screen with my finger. Right. It would just be, it would be silly. So yeah, there's going to have to be a massive change for that to happen.
I agree. And I think that's a long way off. I think that Apple has said they're not going that route just yet. So,
yeah,
like I said, I think that their recent naming scheme change proves that they're going to stick with the OS 10 for a while.
Yeah, you're probably right. Although they did run out of cats, so that's probably another reason why they had to get rid of that. What do we do?
I think there are plenty of beaches in California that they can name after. So.
Hey, look, we have a viewer. We have someone watching us. Hey,
Hi.
Whoever's watching us.
Hi.
3 viewers. 3 viewers.
3 viewers.
Yeah.
I cannot see that on my screen, so apparently you have a different interface than I do.
Well, I have the ability to switch the cameras and everything.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to start calling you Leo.
Call me Leo. So, yeah, we actually have 3 people watching us, which is awesome. So,
hi.
And now it's gone back to 0.
I don't blame them.
Oh, that didn't last long.
They're like, what's that? Nope. Click. Hang up.
That's fun. So, see, now I've lost it.
The other big rumor.
What's the other big rumor?
That you and I have actually had discussions about. Long, in-depth, well, maybe not all that long, but discussions about Apple acquiring Beats.
Ah, yes.
You know, I am still very. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's a rumor.
Really?
That doesn't make any sense, frankly. I don't see what Apple gains from acquiring Beats. I don't see any benefit to Apple whatsoever, because the headphones are not known as good quality headphones. They're known as expensive headphones, but they're not actually good quality headphones. And everyone's saying, oh, but they're acquiring it so that they can get a music license. But if that's the case, why wouldn't they just buy Spotify or iHeartRadio or one of these other guys who are already in the industry, who already have, millions of subscribers, whereas Beats has 100,000 subscribers. Beats has basically no subscribers. 100,000 is nothing. And so for Apple to go out of their way to buy this company that's not doing very good, that's not doing very well, and doesn't have a quality product, it doesn't make any sense to me, whenever they could buy someone who is actually already in the industry and knows what they're talking about and can get something going that way.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but sorry, I've just had to open up to add the ability to share my screen to Google Plus. It made me change my preferences, so
Oh yeah.
I'm just going to flip to that.
I can see your screen, so
There you are.
yeah.
There you go. This is the latest from Mac Rumors. Just came in now. Apple to announce Beats acquisition this week. Price drops to $3 billion. So we again, yeah, we know we don't know what the reason is for them requiring it. I've heard one rumor that it was basically for the people, not for any of the technology or anything like that. They want the people because I guess they think they understand. They understand young people. That might be it, you know.
But again, if you're going to buy the people, then buy the people. Don't buy the whole company.
Well, the people come with the company, so I think that's probably why they're doing that. But I guess they probably make money. I'm assuming Beats makes money, so why not buy the company and make money too?
When was the last consumer-facing company that Apple bought? They've bought lots of back-end companies that make.
It will be the first one.
Yeah, especially something of that caliber, of that level. Apple's not done it before. Again, that's not saying Apple won't do it or that it won't happen. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
To me, that's not in Apple's DNA. That's not Apple's MO.
Well, that's their DNA and their MO has changed over time, hasn't it? So now that Steve Jobs, maybe now that Steve Jobs is not there, I think they are changing a lot. I mean, I think Tim Cook is doing things differently.
Yeah, this might be the first in many of acquisitions. It might not have been in Apple's DNA, but it might be from now on. We'll find out.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. So, whether they announce it this week or they announce it at WWDC, I don't see the reason why they would announce it at WWDC because it's not really a developer type thing. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they announce non-developer stuff all the time at WWDC.
That's true. That's true. I mean, the keynote hasn't always been basically just about developers. We've seen hardware announced there before, stuff like that. But I guess we won't know until next Monday.
Yeah.
So we've got OS 10.10. Mm-hmm. That's one of the rumors. What do we think we're going to see there? Do you think we're going to see just a bit of more of a shift to make it look a little bit more iOS 7-y, maybe? A little bit cleaner?
Jared, if there's little information available on iOS 8, there's even less information on OS 10.10. It isn't clear whether Apple has in store for the operating system, but with OS 10 Maverick introducing relatively few UI changes, it's possible that OS 10.10 will bring some significant visual improvements.
I love the way you said all that.
I'm quite sure that I was not reading directly from the Mac Rumors website.
Of course not. No.
So that's pretty much it. January report points towards a flatter interface, but what does that mean? Not a whole much. So Apple apparently has been very quiet about this one, and it's quite possible that we won't hear a single mention of 10.10. And apparently, how would you pronounce this? Is this OS 10 10.10 or is this OS 10.10?
No, it's OS X 10.10.
Apple has never called it OS X. It's always been OS 10. That has always been pronounced 10, so it's always been OS 10. But I don't think they call it OS 10 10.9. It's OS 10.9.
Yeah, that's it.
Wrong?
Yeah, you're right.
So even though here it's OS X 10.10,
they've written it wrong.
Well, yeah.
It's OS 10.10.
It's confusing. What does Wikipedia have to say about the?
Well, you pointed that out. I've seen some of the. Oops.
You see the pronunciation here, OS 10. Hmm. You okay over there?
Yeah, I was just. We should have checked all this stuff out before we start the show. Basically, to add in like YouTube and stuff like that. Okay, so it's actually got a YouTube player. That's pretty cool. So I was going to show you a video, but that's okay. That's all right. Yeah, well, I have no idea. I mean, we don't know until next week, so that's. I think a flatter look would be nice. Something a little different. I think that would be good.
Bring it on. And it's interesting now that Apple has.
Just remember, dude, we're live on video, so maybe not eating with the spoon. He's going to do it anyway,
Fine,
just to defy me.
Pretty much. Fine, I'll put away my frozen drink.
Yes.
All
right, let's move on from 10.10. Let's go to iOS 8. What are we going to see there?
Let's see. OS 8.
We've got the health book.
Health book? Yeah, I don't know what else. I'm looking it up here. Major Siri and Maps improvements could be key features of iOS 8, along with rumored health book app that suggests fitness and health-related information. Really not a whole lot here. I will say, the rumors are iTunes Radio will be separated out into its own app, which again doesn't mean a whole lot to me. Like, why would you do that? I'm not a fan of 25 apps.
It brings it front and center, I think, if anything.
Yeah. One of my main complaints, and one of my frivolous complaints about iOS 10 is that, I mean, iOS in general, is that you can't delete the embedded, the in-house apps. I wish you could delete or disable or remove stocks and apps like that. I think they're kind of silly that you can't remove them. So to me, when I hear that, I'm thinking, oh, just another app that I have to add to my utilities folder. It's kind of silly.
Yeah.
I'll say that my one, I don't know if demand is the right word. I will be very unhappy if, and this is not just iOS 8. This actually might not be announced until the new iPhone. But if the new iPhone does not allow you to do Siri on board, meaning it doesn't have to ship it off to the cloud, it can do it on board. If the new iPhone can't do that, I'll be very disappointed. I know Android's done that for a long time. The processors that we have inside these phones are certainly powerful enough to process your Siri on board. Why they haven't done it yet, I really don't know. But
I think I honestly believe it's to do with how much space that's going to take up on your phone. Like, honestly, like.
You think it'll take up a lot of hard drive?
Yeah, well, it's got all the commands it's got to remember and understand and stuff like that. It's got to be huge.
I work in the bottom of a hotel, and so the connection is not very good. And if I'm not connected on Wi-Fi, I can't get Siri to work. I call Siri, and it just sits there and thinks and thinks and thinks and thinks and thinks. And it's just like I don't, it's frustrating. And to be able to do it on board would be really nice.
Do you not have any cell coverage in the basement either?
Well, the cell is really weak. I can get a phone call and I can text just fine, but Siri takes a lot of information that you're sending all at the same time.
You don't have Wi-Fi?
Sometimes, well, I do if I'm connected to Wi-Fi, but sometimes it drops off of Wi-Fi when I'm walking around. So it just depends on where I am and if it's connected to Wi-Fi or not. But it's just frustrating that I have to stop and think about, am I on Wi-Fi right now? Oh, I'm not on Wi-Fi. Let me go and open up something real quick so that I can call Siri instead of just calling Siri.
Yep. So, no, I totally get that. Okay, well, we've got a few different things there. We've got the health book, and I know you want Siri inside the phone, which will be nice.
Yeah, and I think it's going to have to be a phone and an operating system thing. I mean, it's going to have to be both working together. So that's why I think it's applicable to say it now, even though we probably wouldn't hear about it now, because it's going to have to be in iOS 8. But is that something that they'll enable for past devices, or will it only be the iPhone 6 that it'll be available on?
I would probably say it would be an iPhone 6 feature, because they'd probably want to tout it as an iPhone 6 feature, I guess.
They're going to have to sell something for the iPhone 6.
Yeah, well, that's still months away, so let's one thing at a time.
Sure, but what else? What else do you know about? You're the one that has the inside information there.
I don't actually. I asked my friends that I used to work with, and they're like, can't talk about it. Well, they don't know either. And even when I worked at Apple, we had no inside information on anything. We're at the bottom of the rung, of the heap. You know, lowest common denominator when it comes to Apple. They're not going to share it with us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame them, because it'll get out, because it does get out sometimes. So
it get out on some podcast where two people are sitting here talking. I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I mean, I don't think there's much else to talk about WWDC. There's a couple of rumors there. I don't think we're going to see. If we see any hardware, it will be maybe some new iMacs, a Mac Mini maybe update, but that's pretty much it. I don't think we'll see anything major. No phones, no iPads, no MacBooks, anything like that.
iWatch.
Yeah, is that something they would release at WWDC, or would they?
I don't think that they would release it. However, just like
pre-announce it.
The iPhone, are they going to pre-announce it?
Yeah.
Is that something that they're going to pre-announce in a week?
Well, that could be, because if they are going to do an SDK for it, then
you've got to get it out.
That's where they've got to get it out, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
SDK for Apple TV, maybe?
I think that the rumors, and all of these, and Apple TV, iWatch, I think the rumors have not been heavy enough to justify saying it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You usually see a big ramp up of rumors before an actual product actually gets released. And a lot of these rumors have been dying off over the past couple of weeks, and to me that means that it's not going to happen right now.
I mean, I'm not saying a new Apple TV. I'm saying an SDK, so it could just be a software update.
Sure. But even then, usually you get the rumors beforehand, and we haven't been seeing those rumors as heavily as... we were seeing those rumors a month ago, but we're not seeing the rumors right now. That, to me, says that it's not going to happen right now.
Yeah.
That's just instinct. That's just, I've done this a few times.
Yeah. Yep. No, I guess you're right. Well, we've been talking here for about 30 minutes or so, I don't think is there anything else we need to talk about? I think that pretty much covers what we know and what we don't know, which is pretty much everything. And I don't want to waddle on for an hour about stuff we don't know. So I think it's been a pretty good.
If you do want to hear people waddle on for an hour about stuff they don't know, listen to Mac Break Weekly, and they'll thoroughly cover all of the things that we don't know about anything.
It's funny. I haven't listened to Mac Break Weekly for a year.
Good for you. You have not missed anything.
No, it's not because I haven't wanted to. It's that I used to listen to it on my commute to work. I don't have a commute to work, and I didn't have much of a commute in Thailand, so there was no point. I can't just sit here and listen to it. I have to be in the car listening to the podcast. So that's me.
I'm the exact same way. I do the exact same thing. I listen at work. I have a lot of podcasts that I listen to on my way to work and such. And so if I don't go to work for a week, then those podcasts start piling up.
That's right.
So
cool.
How many viewers are watching us right now, Bob?
0.
Yes.
But we've had ones that have come and gone. So let's. People aren't sticking around, but it's a start.
I don't blame them. But I think as we get better at this.
Yeah.
Probably. No,
and I didn't really describe what the show was. I just said two guys, two countries, people are not going to know that we're talking about Apple. So
Right. Well, we won't always talk about Apple. That's just kind
no,
of...
I know. That's just where we started.
We'll talk about autonomous vehicles next time.
It's a throwback Tuesday to our old podcast.
Yes. And we won't name the old podcast, but if you go and listen to it...
you won't find it. It's not doesn't exist anymore.
internetarchive.com. If you go and find it, a unicorn will visit you and give you some unicorn tears for supper. You should definitely go and find it and listen to it.
They are pretty tasty. I'll tell you one thing we're going to talk about in the future is these little guys.
Oh yes. That'll definitely be a long conversation.
Yes.
For your audio listeners, he's holding up his DJI Phantom, which is a quadcopter with a GoPro mount on it, and something that I've been drooling over for a long time. In fact, I really like one, but I haven't bought one yet, and I'm very jealous of Jared, who's had one for quite some time now. And if you go and look up Jared's Vimeo page, he's got some really sweet quadcopter flying around ponds and lakes and forests and cities and houses.
If you 2 seconds, I'm just going to see if this works. I'm probably going to try totally kill my Mac by doing this, but I'm going to open up Final Cut because I went flying yesterday, and I've got some footage that I'm editing together right now. So I'm just going to see if Final Cut will open, or is Google Plus and all this stuff going on going to totally kill it. Let's see how we go. Just to have a bit of a look. It probably won't play back very well, but you can see some of the footage. It's loading very slowly right now.
I'm trying to think of jokes I could tell on the air, but...
Yes, it's not exactly exciting time.
That's the problem. The good news about Google Hangouts is you don't have to edit any of this when you're done. The bad news is you can't edit it when we're done.
That's exactly right.
It is live to tape.
So if something bad happens and we disappear for a second, I can't do anything about it. It's just what happens.
In the industry, it's called live to tape. You're recording it, and you've got no second chance.
Let's put up my screen share. We're going to screen share. Final Cut Pro. Start screen share.
I see a black screen. Oh, there we go. I see two people. Looks like they're about to kiss.
No, there's some friends of mine.
Oh.
Let's open up my actual... It's a video I'm making for some friends. The coast. It's unrendered, of course. Seeing anything?
Yep. You've got all the nice plugins. I don't have any of those nice plugins. That's pretty.
It's not playing back very well, but that's understandably considering we're now streaming live on Google.
Yeah. No, I'm seeing about a frame a second, which isn't horrible.
Yeah, not too bad. So yeah, that's sort of what I did yesterday, and we went out and went down the beach as well, and there's the beach.
So have you taken this out? Go ahead.
Taking it out what?
Have you taken it out in urban areas much?
Not fully, no. There's rules and restrictions about where we're allowed to fly and stuff like that, so that's can't really fly over houses and stuff like that.
See, I'm much more of an ask forgiveness kind of guy.
Don't give me that $20,000 fine. I'm sorry.
No, really, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Have mercy. So no,
All right. Well, I think
we'll,
we'll wrap this up for now.
we can talk about that another time.
Yeah, we'll do that in a future episode. But the next episode will be when we're talking about what happened at WWDC and not about the DJI Phantom. So,
Yes.
and you'll see our shows will be labelled a little better next time. So we're actually going to say what we're talking about, so you know what you're coming into. So you're not going to pop on and go, "What are these guys talking? Oh, I don't want to talk about Apple." Off I go. Sounds good.
That'll be smart.
All right. So Matthew, where can we find you online?
Online, you can find me on Twitter, Katanna, Katana. That's probably the best place. You'll find my musings and my photographs and my random tweets there.
Cool.
And you, sir?
And you can find me at on Twitter as well. It's Jared, Jared L Bell. That's my Twitter handle. And Instagram, JaredBell79. I post some cool pictures there sometimes. And you check out my website at jaredbell.com.au if you want to know what I do for work. And I post some of my videos on there as well. So, thank you, Matthew. And thank you to anyone that is watching this. And you may not be watching it live, but you may watch it on YouTube afterwards.
Leave a comment down in the comments, in YouTube comments, and tell us if you liked it, if you didn't like it, what you want to hear about it, because we are both Mac fans, but we are both also fans of other things, and so this show is not just going to be about Mac, it's going to be about other things as well. It's just going to be a hodgepodge of random musings about technology and different stuff, so let us know what you want to hear about, and we might just talk about it.
Sounds good. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.